Welcome back to Steaming Pile with Lauren and Tucker. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Tucker.
And it's been a minute. It's Monday again. And I'm going to tell you, it's been a time.
It's been a good one.
Yeah, the whole time leading up to this, I'm like, I'm not going to talk about like resolutions. I'm not going to talk about everything that went down on Wednesday. But that's all that's on my brain.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, it's, of course. I mean, when you say resolutions, what do you mean? What do you mean resolutions?
Oh, like of the New Year's variety.
And
You know, every year people are like, yeah, today's the day I'm going to make myself better. And I've done moderately well with that because there's like workout programs on YouTube. I've been doing those every day. But my mistake was January 1st, first day of the new year. I got up, I worked out, I made pancakes. I had 3 mimosas and got so sick and passed out.
That is a great way to start your resolution. That is beautiful. I love to hear it.
It was kind of great, but then I realized, like, why would anyone day drink? That was miserable. Like, it was great for the first half hour. Mm-hmm. And then it was awful.
Well, the trick is, and experienced drinkers will tell you, that you gotta ride it. You gotta balance it from like, oh God, I'm going to die, and oh no, I'm sobering up and I can feel the pain of life's pressures. You gotta ride that thin line, right? And you know, there is a spacing. It's different for everyone. For 3 mimosas during the day.
Yes,
it exists.
And
you can find it.
Let me tell you, 2 pancakes is not enough to hold back anything. But I'm also not like, I do not have the fortitude to drink a lot. And that's both a good and bad thing. It's great because it doesn't take much, so I don't have to spend a lot.
That's fair.
But it also means that, like, you know, it's Friday night, I could throw on a movie, and 45 minutes into it, I am ready for bed because I'm exhausted.
No, yeah, no, I get that. I've recently, I guess in the past like 3 years, I've lost any kind of tolerance, and it's just like, oh boy, wow, what was that? What was that? 1 White Claw? I feel like such a bad person for drinking White Claw. I bought White Claw. I had a friend visiting from out of town, and we were looking for stuff to drink, and I'm like, oh, drinks like this are delicious, and we got White Claw because that general genre of beverage, right? The alcoholic soda, more or less, right? Is it's tasty. It's hard to say, oh no, this is disgusting, except for, you know, like lime-maritas. But in general, pretty good. Yeah. And while I was drinking the White Claw at first, this was August. It was, you know, delicious. I had 1 left in the fridge that I had this weekend.
Oh no.
They don't keep as well as you think they would.
That's surprising. I
mean, maybe it's just, you know, rose-tinted glasses. I thought they were better the first time I had it than this time, and maybe they keep well. But I mean, I finished it. Let me be clear. I'm a garbage person. I finished it, but
oh yeah,
there are better. You'll have to excuse me. I have to turn my space heater off because it is toasty in this room. My God. But yeah, no, and it's like, what was that? Just 1? They're tiny cans. That's enough. Now, and that's not great. Every time I go to my, for lack of a better word, my boss's house, they have this game where they try to kill me with alcohol. There's some nights I don't remember getting home. I vaguely remember requesting a lift, and it's like, oh, hey, look. They're good. They know how to mix. It is an art.
It kind of has to be, especially when you have just like random assortments of things, because like I was recommended salted caramel whiskey, and so I wanted to get some of that, and I have that, but I also found salted caramel vodka, and I'm like, well, I can make caramel White Russians instead of like the regular White Russians, but the only size of Kahlua they had at my liquor store was like the size of a small child. So I have I don't know, 500 ounces of Kahlua just sitting in my fridge. And I'm like, what else can you make with Kahlua? Well, apparently Kalua's website's like, what can you make with Kahlua? Anything. You can mix orange juice into that. If you do like orange juice and cold brew and Kahlua, they've...
What?
So I'm like, great, because I've got a ton of orange juice.
Back up. Oh, have you tried this yet?
I have not, because I don't have cold brew. But I did side-eye it while I was at like the Kroger, and I'm like, do I want to?
You're going to have to now.
No.
I want to report back. This is I can't, because every time I think of mixing anything with orange juice, I think of the taste that it leaves in my mouth after I brush my teeth. And it's like, anything you mix with orange juice. I've heard of people mixing, Fireball with milk. Now, I'm already starting from a bad place because I hate Fireball almost as much as I hate, like, peanuts, because it's just cinnamon and it burns, and it's like, well, there's no fun in this, right? But some people live and die by it.
If it weren't for the fact it were cinnamon, like, that's the only thing that I can be like, okay.
But why would you mix anything with milk? Why would you do that? It's milk. I don't even know how to describe milk. How do you describe milk? It's milky. How do you do it?
Yes, by definition, milk is milky. But, like, I mean, that's what I put in my White Russians. I know that you can do cream or something else. I think there's, like, one more variant you can do. But I do milk just because I don't keep, like, heavy cream in my house.
Okay, but is milk the principal component? Are you mixing something into milk, or are you mixing milk into something?
I'm mixing milk into something.
That's the difference.
Because that's usually what I do. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because, like, with White Russians, it's honestly just, like, if you took those, like, frappes that you get out of fridges from Starbucks and you just if you spiked those.
Oh, yeah. I guess. I know you can spike. I've actually tried spiking one of those frappuccinos with, like, what was it? It was some kind of whiskey, and it was like, that's pretty good. And yeah.
Oh yeah, stuff like Bailey's would make all the sense in the world to put in that.
I don't know. I just can't think of, like, anything with milk. Milk, and I've also heard of this one, milk and Mountain Dew.
No. Mm-mm.
I've heard that's really good.
No.
I that was my reaction too. I haven't tried it yet. I still think probably not.
Yeah, because it just... Anytime I think of that combination, the first thing my brain thinks of is, like, like the whole gamer girl bathwater thing?
Yeah.
It's like if you had...
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh. Okay, here's a question while we're on the topic of milk. Do you see in the food store, I thought this was just a seasonal thing, but it turns out it's unfortunately not, these flavored milks. And I'm talking beyond chocolate and beyond strawberry. I'm talking, there's this salted caramel milk. Sometimes you see peppermint milk, but the one that I want to complain about for a minute is salted caramel milk.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
No.
I strongly advise against it.
Yeah. Well, because there are certain things that, like, I understand the appeal of trying it just because you're curious. But there are other things that I look at and I know.
Yeah.
I know that it's not going to end well. And salted caramel milk would be one of them.
Right. I mean, it just, if you read that on a paper, you'd be like, oh, maybe. Because you have milk. Milk equates to cream. Cream equates to dessert. Dessert equates to sweets. Equates to, it's a 5 degrees of freedom, like, but
Yeah, because caramel is just like sugar. It's just like...
Exactly.
It's caramelized sugar. Milk has sugar in it.
I mean, milk is basically all sugar, right? So, like...
Yeah.
You would think, right? Well, first off, milk shouldn't be salty. Let's start there. It's also so thick. It's so thick. I think...
Oh, no.
I think there is one flavored milk that I've ever had in my life that I wish they actually, like, made more of. I think they do still make more of it, but it's only, like, in the St. Louis area because it's made by Prairie Farms. It's red velvet milk.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know. Mm-hmm. It comes out blood red. but it's amazing.
Oh, it's perfect.
I don't know how they do it or why they make it in such. I guess I know why they make it in such small quantities and why they don't ship it. But it exists. It exists. It exists.
Yeah. Of the flavored milks, I'm willing to give that a pass.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Because there's some people who look at milk and it has to be the purest milk ever, right? Like milk, it has to be untainted. It is biological. It squirted out of an animal, right? You don't want to mess with that, right? But then you start to make concessions. Ovaltine sounds pretty good. How about I never understood strawberry milk.
I can kind of understand it, if only just for like strawberries and cream is a thing.
Yeah. I'm not knocking it. I used to drink it a lot as a kid, but I don't remember why. It was only okay. It was like
I think just for the novelty of it.
I guess. And it wasn't just like the bottles of Nesquik. You could get like the Hershey's squirt bottles of it as well. Which yeah, it's just I don't know if the food store closes at 9. I could go back, relive whatever that part. This has been 10 minutes talking about milk. What else do you want to talk about? It's a deep subject. It's a deep subject.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about the collapse of civilization. Milk, by the way.
Well, I think of all the things that have happened in the past couple weeks, I think we can agree that the most culturally significant one is the release of Pixar's Soul. Have you seen that movie yet, Lauren?
I haven't, but I've seen the Your Movie Sucks review of it.
Did he think it sucks?
I mean, he gave it a standard 6 out of 10. His gripes were legitimate from what I know of the story, which is just strictly through his synopsis of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, like everyone else says it's good because it is. It's a Pixar movie.
It has. I didn't think it was possible, but it has dethroned Inside Out as my favorite animated film. Which
really,
yeah, and just from a technical standpoint, because I've been goofing around in Blender for 3D stuff a lot recently, and so now I'm looking at animated films from like a technical perspective, and the lighting in this film is so perfect. How do they how the software they have over there, RenderMan, it's so I don't understand like how the math is so anyway.
That's what boggles my mind, is that it is just math. Like I took math in college. I've seen like the videos about like Pixar building its software with math, and it's just so far beyond what I ever did with math that it weirds me out that is still how it's made.
Yeah. No, it's
that it is just polygons and math. And it's like, that's what you could be doing. And I'm like, well, let's be real. My ambition doesn't reach that far.
I tried to like wrap my head around like the math of ray tracing. Nah, I'll just use it without understanding the actual numerics of it. It's fine. It's fine.
It always fascinates me who ends up having to like take something apart to understand it, to put it back together. Because I know that for Brave, they had to write like completely new math just for Merida's hair, because it couldn't have like the typical spring equation, just because it was going in so many different directions, and the different like corkscrews that it was going through, like different sections of hair. They had to just write new equations for it.
Oh god, the physics too. That's right. It's not just lighting; it's physics. Yeah. And again, I've only really ever worked with Blender. It has like it has physics in it. It has hair dynamics. It has fluid simulation built in. Fluid dynamics is complicated. Granted, it's just an approximation, but it still looks pretty good. It's so much math, and like this is, and Blender is just the tip of the iceberg, right? It's really full featured, but it's free and it's open source. There's this other software. It's called Houdini Side of. Is it called Houdini? Is it by Houdini? Is it called Side Effects? Made by Side Effects? One or the other. I think it's Side Effects' Houdini. And this thing, it looks super complicated. Ridiculously complicated, but it like has so much of this like world building physics stuff built in I can't even begin to describe it. But you watch these they put demo videos of what their software can do onto YouTube, and like sometimes YouTube just recommends this random stuff, and I just watch it, and it's like, computers, huh? Like, if I asked my computer to do that, I think it would melt straight through the foundation of the ground. Like, that's like just the amount of sheer power and just the amount of math to make it look so photorealistic. It's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah, that's what I forget is just the amount of like servers required for stuff like that too. And now when we sometimes say computers, it's like, yes, there's a workstation that an artist or an animator will sit at. But then there's like so much hardware just to make sure it all runs.
Yeah. I know Pixar has a farm. Cloud rendering is big. I don't do a whole lot of complicated stuff. So I don't know. I know that it can take a very long time, like minutes, hours to render a single frame. Like some of these Pixar films, right? Like if you look at something like really any of the recent ones, but Inside Out, how the characters are glowing and they have like the fuzz and how they're kind of particle systems.
Yeah.
And they're also kind of volumetric in a way. Soul, the souls, they're volumetric, but they're also like kind of solid geometry. To calculate the light in that, right? Once you get into volumetrics and like light diffraction, it like you have to process the frame a lot more in order to like make it look not noisy. Which, I mean, think about how massive, right? Like obviously it's not in the scale of some server farms like Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, what have you, but it's sizable. There's a lot of graphics processing in there.
I wonder if because I know for projects like in tech industry, they always have like a calendar basically where they're like, we want to shoot for go live this day. So do they have to like build in like a week or like a couple days for the whole movie to render?
I think they do it scene by scene, and then they splice it together.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine what an entire movie in a single file of whatever they use looks like. That would be pretty large and definitely error prone. So they probably do it like a scene at a time. And also they have a lot of different pipelines. So you have people working on the shading and you have people working on the geometry the animation. But you got to build that time in regardless, and you got to plan it out. Like, well, this scene is in the render phase of the pipeline. The scene before it is going to be in the animation pipeline, and then before that, it's materials and shading, and all the way back out to like voice recording.
Wow. Speaking of rendering animation, so there's a YouTuber called Sideways, and he does a lot of like music related stuff, in particular music as it relates to film. And he had a big long expose on the Cats film. And he just the sheer lack of knowledge that Tom Hooper has when it comes to doing those and how that impacted everything was ridiculous to see. Because for Les Mis, they would have parts of it that were like recited or parts of it that were sung, and it wasn't an actor following like a click track all the time. Sometimes it was a piano trying to catch up and trying to follow based on a conductor watching the actor. And the same thing happened in Cats, where the cats aren't singing to anything at all, except for like a couple of numbers. So like Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat, where it's sung by a tap dancer, and I think he does ballet too, who understands that timing is kind of important.
Yeah.
That one's sung to a click track, and so that song is kind of serviceable in the movie. For the rest of it, they're just making it up as they go along. And I'm like, yes, those orchestra members are very talented, but asking them to follow a non-existent count is diabolical. And it's like, it never crossed Tom Hooper's mind. And it's like he didn't learn anything from Les Mis either. Or that if any of like the conductors or orchestra members tried to be like, hey, Tom, don't be a dick and do this again. He's like, I know what I'm doing. Andrew Lloyd Webber's hand selected me because it was awful.
Well, also keep in mind, Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote Cats. So do we really trust his judgment?
No, not at all, because he also wrote Love Never Dies, and I don't trust that man's judgment for that either.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's Cats. It's Cats. You didn't have much to stand on, and this doesn't surprise me at all. I didn't know any of this, but it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that it was just kind of just go on to the soundstage and just sing your 9 Lives Out. Just
yeah,
to no click track. That blows my mind. That absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah, like occasionally they would have a click track. But again, it was usually for like the really big numbers where they're not just following like a single actor. And so he would play bits from like the Les Mis movie or from like the Jenny Anydots number. And for like One Day More, it's a mess. It was something that never really sunk in until I heard that compared to like the stage concert version of just how much of a train wreck it sounded. And then for like Jenny Anydots, they have tap dancing cockroaches, right?
Yeah.
They're not on beat.
They're not?
No.
Yeah, I guess I could believe that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's been a year since I saw that movie.
Oh, same.
Yeah. I don't want to go back and see it. So I'm just going to take your word for it.
No, the Sideways video is good. It's like an hour long, and it's really informative. All of his content's really good.
Okay.
Because he talks about some of the like live action Disney films and why their music doesn't quite work. He talks about like the music in the Sweeney Todd film and why it works. Because music is something again that I love on a very surface level. So for someone to understand the score's function in a thing, not just like the lyrics, but the score's function, that gets so deep into it. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. No, that's God, that movie should never have been made. That musical should have never been made. No. And this is coming from I call me a degenerate. I liked the Les Mis movie. Yes, I know.
I did too.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not crazy about Les Mis as a show, but there are tons of aspects of the movie that I do really enjoy. I tend to enjoy the things that a lot of people don't. Like, I think Amanda Seyfried does a really good job as Cosette. And I really like Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter. I think they were a good pick for the film.
Yeah. I tend to think so too. Yeah. I don't know. I just yeah, every time I think of Cats, I just think of like just the amount of I can't imagine what being at the opening night of the actual musical was like. You're sitting there watching it and you have like you can't possibly understand what's going on. You have absolutely no idea. Like, is there a metaphor? Is there like what is he trying to say? And he's just trying to say that cats aren't dogs. Oh God. And the really sad part is Memories is one of my favorite songs from any musical ever. And the fact that it's surrounded by like 2.5 hours of straight crap. Like, just thinking about the movie, right? You have to drench the film in all these like in the style of the film, right? You have to drench it in like these neon lights and these like just gaudy sets and just absolutely just doll it all up in this like retro punk futuristic but also kind of Victorian sort of. I can't even begin to explain like describe using English words what they're trying to go for, but you have to do that to distract from the fact that Rebel Wilson is spread-eagled while she's, teaching cockroaches to dance while she eats them, just so she can be in a competition, so that she can be lifted in an air balloon while Dame Judi Dench says the cats aren't dogs. That's like this is like, I don't know. We keep coming back to this movie, and I think it's worth noting, like, if we're talking about cultural impact, this is it.
Yes. I think it could have had a much more positive, like, lasting impression if it went the complete opposite direction of trying to achieve, like, a really high art award baiting atmosphere. If it had been shot with the budget and flair of, like, B-movie, Rocky Horror-esque atmosphere, it would have been the best thing ever. Because it's only that level of camp and melodrama that makes all of the weird nonsense bookending memory work. Because then memory's melodrama comes through so much more cleanly.
I can definitely see the argument for that, because I'm not the biggest fan of Rocky Horror Picture Film, but I do agree that the way it's shot and, like, you know, the campiness of it really does lend to its charm. And I think Cats needs that.
Yeah, like the weird sexual energy that Rocky Horror has. Mm-hmm. Cats has that same energy.
God, those cats are so horny. Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god, they're cats. Oh, and they're real looking, but they look like people. This is like every furry artist's dream. This is like they just need a trace. That's it. They don't need to do any work. That's just it. You're done. Every time we go back to cats. Oh my god.
It's not like I try to. That's just where it goes, because there's so much. Like, it's called steaming pile for a reason, and that pile is so high.
Oh, it's just
we will never be done sifting through it.
I'm trying to I'm like, in recent memory, has there been a worse film?
To that scale?
Yeah, to that scale.
No.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Certainly not where every step from, like, the higher ups through, like, production, like, not to besmirch, like, the people who actually need, like, the work for money. Mm-hmm. Where every step was just a misstep. I don't think there's really been one that disastrous.
Yeah. You can't make bricks without clay.
Right.
What could you do with the script of Cats that would make it good? Even the campy version, I don't think would have gone over well.
Well, no, because there's a certain energy that live theater captures that
definitely
film never will.
Yeah.
And I think New French Extremity tries to tap into that energy by giving the audience very visceral things to react to. But it hits different when you see someone, like, 40 feet in front of you have their neck slit open versus seeing it on a screen.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. And every time I think of, like, you know, musicals on film, they try so hard to capture it, and it just makes it so not uncomfortable to watch, just like they're trying too hard. Mm-hmm. I would rather just, and honestly, and this is something I wish I did for Aida. Even I really like film stage plays where there's not necessarily an audience, but it's filmed on the stage with the actors from different points using the real set, right? The camera is on the stage with them, right? And I really like stage plays that are filmed like that. Because you know it's a play, you're watching a play. It's basically like you're sitting in the audience, but you're closer, and you get a little more of that movie magic art without them trying too hard. They're not trying too hard. They're trying exactly as hard as they would on an actual main stage play.
Yes. Yeah. Because I've been trying to think of, like, movies that have given me the same visceral reaction as seeing a play adaptation of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Because when I saw that, I knew nothing about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I knew Jack Nicholson was in the film adaptation. I knew he was, like, in an insane asylum, but he wasn't actually crazy. I knew nothing about it. Mm-hmm. And so by the end of the play, like, I was with a very shaky voice being like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to drive all my friends back to campus. It's fine. And, like, my fiance left the room. He came back in, and I just burst into tears. And it wasn't just, like, you know, I was sad at the ending. It was like full-on panic attack. I started seeing a counselor after that because it just kind of coalesced with all my stress that I was experiencing that quarter. And there really hasn't been a film that's, like, gripping to that same extent. And I know there are films out there that are upsetting, and there have been films that I have cried very hard at, or I have been upset by, but none that have like captured that feeling. Because like I was partially nervous when I saw Joker in a theater, just because like I knew nothing was gonna happen. But like when the guy, you know, 2 seats down from you won't sit still, you're like, I'm uncomfortable. And like when I saw the film Horns was fine up until like the last third of the movie. And then that was just like, it made my skin crawl and I didn't like it. And Just Mercy, I bawled because that one was just depressing. But it's hard to get like that under your skin through film.
Yeah, it's possible though.
Oh, it very much is. That's why I'm very grateful for like film commentary channels who watch those movies, so I don't have to.
That's fair. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, like just this weekend I was watching a review of this, I think it was a Spanish film called Skins, where this, like everyone in the world had some sort of ailment or malady that they were trying to process. Like there was a guy who didn't want his legs anymore because he wanted to be a merman. There was a woman who didn't have any eyes. And then there was this girl who didn't have her mouth in the right place. She had a butthole for a mouth and vice versa. I honestly don't remember anything else that happened in that movie.
Past the butthole mouth, that would be hard to remember, like plot. It's hard to look past.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some interesting like color grading and very like on theme color. So like each character has like their color, and it's.
What was Butthole Face's color?
I want to say hers was like, I can't remember if hers was like the soft baby pink or the like minty green. Because like the Mermaid Kids was like a really light lilac color.
That's okay. See, artistic choices like that can maybe save a film from
or
being
maybe it doesn't, but
Yeah, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm just making all this up. We have fun here.
Oh, we do. I gotta plug in my laptop.
Oh no. So how were your holidays, Lauren?
They were good. I gotta go home and visit my parents and experience Christmas and stuff with them. Then came back here for New Year's Eve. Because my work was like, I went asking for vacation time, and I'm like, can I get Wednesday and Thursday? Or can I get Wednesday, the 23rd off, and then the preceding Monday, which I think was like the 28th? And they're like, well, we don't have Christmas Eve off. And I'm like, what? What kind of 9-to-5 corporate pencil pusher company are we if we don't have Christmas Eve off? But because of that, like, what's the word? Condensed time frame, I had to fly, which was honestly not terrible.
Yeah.
It was probably the fastest I've gone through security, despite the fact that there were a lot of other people flying. I mean, like, I had the mask and hand sanitizer and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was neat. I'm always fascinated by people who complain about flying.
Me too.
Because it's like, what did you expect?
What did you expect? Who hurt you?
What did you want from planes?
Yeah, like, okay.
They have nothing to give you.
Security, I'll admit, sometimes can be a drag. I have personally never had a problem, except for that one time I accidentally forgot to take the pocket knife out of my backpack. Beyond that, what are they going to complain about? It's the TSA. The lines are long. They keep them moving as fast as they can. The security isn't the problem. The people are the problem.
Oh, always.
What else is there? Yeah. They price gouge you if you're hungry. That's everywhere. That's sporting events.
Yeah. No, my thing with the TSA. So last year, Christmas 2019, and I remember this because it confused me and made me upset. So I had gotten like sugar scrubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you classify those as a liquid?
They're like kind of a little bit. But they're mostly solid, right?
Apparently, though,
yeah,
they were enough of a liquid that the TSA took it from me.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I was upset. I was very sour, and of course, I can't take it out on the TSA agent just doing their job around the holidays. They don't want to be there. I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far up the ladder I have to go to complain about this, year-old grudge.
No, that kind of sucks. Yeah. No, I mean, that's a great question. How much of a liquid does a liquid have to be before it's a liquid?
Yeah.
Because, sugar scrubs. I mean, sugar's in the name, right? It's not liquid sugar. That would burn. So where's the line? I don't know. Oh, it's liquid or gel. What if? Oh god, this is from an old Saturday Night Live skit. What if you make more than 3 ounces of liquid or gel while you're on the plane? What happens then?
Well, if you wait long enough, it's not a liquid you have to worry about.
That's true. Okay. Here's something I hate about planes. Well, first off, I love flying. Your takeoff and landing.
Most of my reading done in the entire course of the year while flying.
What I hate is people who take window seats and then don't look out the window.
Yeah, when they just pull it down, especially when they're like I get it, you get assigned seats and whatever.
Yeah.
But why would you not offer to switch?
Yeah.
Before closing the window. I want to see the turbulence.
Yeah. It's beautiful. You see clouds. You see cities sometimes. You get to see landing and takeoff. That's fun.
I love that.
It drives me up a wall. It absolutely frosts my flakes. And I gotta say, coming back from Florida just this last holiday, I came in on the 1st, New Year's Day. It was a night flight. And I didn't. There were some other flights that were delayed because there was an ice storm coming through Chicago, but my flight wasn't delayed. So we're approaching Chicago, O'Hare, and we're landing, and I'm looking out the window, because I'm a reasonable human being when I'm in a window seat, and I'm looking out, and I see snow on the ground. I'm like, oh, that's cool. We're getting kind of close to the ground. It turns out I was looking at the tarmac. It just wasn't clear. So this guy was just landing. I don't, in my memory, I've never actually seen a plane land in snow. So it's kind of alarming because you could see they've tried to clear it, right? There are piles.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't keep a runway cleared if it's in use all the time. But yeah, no, and I guess they couldn't keep it clear. I don't know. Also, goodness. Fun fact, there are no ride shares on New Year's Day that are willing to come all the way out to O'Hare. That was fun. That was an enjoyable 2 hours trying to get home. Also, O'Hare is a labyrinth. I don't know. I still to this day don't know where you're supposed to pick up a Lyft or an Uber from O'Hare. There are arrows that lead to hallway dead ends. You're supposed to pick it up from the departure level, which seems antithetical to the whole layout of the. I don't get that. Why would you set it up that way? Why don't you have a designated spot? It's only in Terminal 2.
That's weird.
Just
I understand you kind of want to streamline that, but that sounds like it's not streamlined at all.
Oh, I don't know. There's a train there though, so you can't get that mad. I think it runs 24/7, so you can't get that mad.
Yeah, I think to this day though, the Indy airport is still my favorite, just in terms of size, efficiency, and just general accessibility.
I can see. Yeah, that's not a bad airport. It's
yeah.
I mean, it's an international airport too, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
At least while I was still in school, it had, and this isn't international, but it's nice. They would have an Alaskan airline flight that was, I think, Indy to Seattle, and it was direct, which was really nice.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, it's not a hub airport, but the size of it and its location. I mean, Indianapolis isn't a small city. It's a decent airport. The airports of that size are, you're right, accessible, manageable, not really that bad. And then you get, O'Hare, Atlanta, JFK. Oh my God, it's.
Oh yeah, Hartsfield-Jackson is huge.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, I've been through Atlanta only connecting, maybe like 3 times in my life, and just like it's horrifying. You're terrified at every turn. Am I going to get lost? Is this how I miss my flight? Right? Oh yeah. Yeah, and you're never quite sure. Will they wait for me? They're supposed to wait for me because I'm in the system. It's a connecting flight. I don't know. It's a good time. It's a good time. But
Yeah,
despite all the negative kafeve, I do enjoy flying. It is nice.
Yeah, no, I love plugging in, tuning out, and reading entire books in an hour and a half. It's great.
Indeed. What was the longest flight you've ever taken?
Probably Hartsfield-Jackson to the Dublin International Airport.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
I think may have been an 8-hour flight. It was
That's
certainly long enough. I don't remember, but it was certainly long enough that they closed all of the shades and turned off the lights in the cabin and provided blankets and pillows for people to sleep, as if people can sleep on a plane.
I never understood that. It's just
yeah.
It's far too interesting. But the only 8 hours from Atlanta to Dublin?
Let's verify that with my extremely slow internet and see if my laptop can handle that.
I believe in you, laptop. That seems very short to cross an ocean at a diagonal. That's I guess it's not that much of a diagonal, but it's still quite a bit.
Yeah. Looks like they range closer to 12 hours.
Yeah, that seems a little more reasonable. Because from O'Hare to Heathrow, I think was 13, 14. So yeah, Atlanta to Dublin's got to be 12 hours sounds more reasonable, I think. Yeah.
And that was after that was the connecting flight, because it was originally Indy to Hartsfield-Jackson.
Yeah, but that's pocket change compared to 12 hours on a plane. Yeah. No, but it sounds like fun in a way. I don't know. This is broken Tucker brain. It's an experience, albeit a long one, to be on a plane for that long. It's 12 hours, and it sucks to be sitting that long. But in the end, isn't it fun, kind of? I
think so.
Yeah, but it's in an intangible way that's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, I've flown enough that it is an easy enough process to get through security to my gate, whatever. But it is still enough of a novelty that each time I do it, it's still fun. There's still something cool about it.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person that when I pack, I try to pack so that I don't have to check anything.
Yeah.
Because that is the part that I dislike about flying. Is checking and waiting for baggage.
Oh, waiting for baggage, yeah. That's. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Pack light. I don't know. I don't know. Why can't? I guess I know the answer, but the fact that you're unable to check lithium-ion batteries is awfully constraining. If you have a lot of battery. I don't know. I guess it has something to do with the pressure, and if a fire starts down there, you can't really suppress it.
Yeah.
Because but the pressure in the cabin fluctuates. What was it, like 150 HPA hectopascals? It's whatever unit my phone reads its barometer in, because I like to open. I have this app.
Oh, that's fun.
It doesn't technically violate airplane mode, as far as I know, because when I turn on airplane mode, the GPS doesn't turn off. So it's called GPS.
Yeah,
status.
it's a myth that when you turn off location, that it's not still tracking you.
Oh yeah, well when you're in airplane mode, how do it know? It can't possibly. It can't possibly.
And it probably has enough additional information that it probably doesn't even need your physical phone. It just knows that you were in this airport. You have a flight to this airport.
Yeah, no, they'll pick you up when you land. Where are you going to go? It's a plane. It is currently 998.2 pascals, some SI unit of pascals. Also, I can't get a GPS fix in here. How about that?
Oh, they can't find you.
Haha. Well, I'm connected to Wi-Fi, so
they got you.
That's game over. Yeah. All right, we're 50 minutes in, or we're 45 minutes in, I guess. Yeah. I guess we should talk about it. While we're talking about, large government conspiracies, let's talk about it. Let's get out of the way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the funniest thing to me, because it is all darkly hysterical in the sense that, like, what else can you do? And the more I think about this, the more I think about, like, Tom Lear, who would write humorous songs about, like, bombs falling on America during the Cold War. And it's like, what? That's all you can do. But there's so many funny things about all of this, like the fact that they still did not wear masks, even if it would have, like, concealed their identity when committing crimes.
Yeah.
And it's like the one time where people are like, oh yeah, no, it's a bunch of Antifa people in disguise as MAGA supporters trying to make us look bad. Except all of the guys who were there were like, don't you dare call me Antifa. Where they have to genuinely think hard about traitor versus Antifa. They're like, which is the worst thing to be called in this instance?
Yeah, that was I was in a meeting when that started, which I mean is absolutely hilarious, because if that's not capitalism, I don't know what is. But watching it, it was very unclear what was going on in terms, because the news wasn't ready for it.
Oh, no.
Nobody. You don't expect the right-wing inquisition. No one expects it. So yeah, the news were trying to cover it as best. I think they did an okay job. But what I think they were missing was a variety of sources, because they played like the same two things over and over again. There are people in the chamber, and there's that guy with his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Those are the two things they kept showing over and over again. They had to have had more, right? And they had to and it had to have painted a more complete picture. And they kept, and the funniest thing, I was watching, I was flipping back between NBC and PBS, but they kept calling these representatives. I think they got a couple senators, but mostly representatives, because they're a dime a dozen. Who cares about the House? They kept saying, like, we're not going to ask where you are, right, for safety reasons. And I kept thinking, why would you have to say that? They're not going to tell you. You're not going to ask. It's almost like you're taunting them in a way. Like, it's really hard to, like, but like, what? Why even bring that up? We know that they're in a secure location. They shouldn't say where they are. They're not going to, because they're not that stupid. I mean, they're politicians. Just because they lie doesn't mean they're dumb. So like, I'm nitpicking. The coverage overall, not bad. And
especially Especially in a time where like we need news now. We don't give it a couple days
Yeah.
because like everyone just has to be first, and so we get like all of the fresh unsubstantiated claims like fresh out the gate.
It's I'm bring it up again. The Newsroom, written by Aaron Sorkin, covers this topic pretty well. No, I mean, I follow a couple fake accounts on Twitter that they're character accounts. You know, Will McAvoy, Mackenzie McHale, Don Kiefer, the characters from the Newsroom, and then, whoever runs them does a great job. I don't know who runs them. Charlie Skinner. I just all of the accounts. They're fairly active. And it's like, who's running these? And why are they doing such a good job of like, the snarky commentary that you can actually read in the character's voice? A show which has been off the air for 7 years now.
You can admit that you run them, you don't have to pretend there are other people behind them.
I what? No. Shut up.
But yeah, no, I'm impressed with stuff like that. I'm impressed with people who can put together like coherent thoughts in the midst of all of that.
I'm just impressed that people have coherent thoughts. Do you have coherent thoughts?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Like, genuinely, anytime I am asked, what's on your mind? It is like turning on a light bulb and just the thoughts just scatter. And it's just like that. The Me Channel theme and nothing else.
God, it's so catchy. Why did they make the menu music so damn catchy? God, I hear it now too. It's in my head. Get it out. Da, 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 da. Anyway, back to the revolution thing. Go.
Oh
on.
yeah. And like, again, they didn't wear masks, so it's very easy to take their picture and be like, this smiling gentleman carrying the podium, who is he? And so the FBI was able to tweet like a big infographic of just all of their faces, and it's like, do you recognize any of these guys? And someone had said, like, what did they think was going to happen? Did they think they were going to just like get on a plane and go home and go back to work Monday morning? Like,
yeah,
and
they probably did.
I figured there would be protests in some capacity because that seems to just be like a thing. And I know people would gripe to compare this to like the Women's March when Trump was elected. But at this point, things are so polarized that there's going to be protests no matter who wins. Yeah. Now, police just like removing barricades so they could storm the Capitol, a building that you can't look at for too long. Otherwise, some suited guy is going to be like, hey, look at something else. That's what blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't like... It's one thing that, they were able to get into the Capitol. It's another thing entirely that they were able to get into the Capitol while literally a third of the government was there. All of them. They were all in that one place. The vice president of the United States was there, and they got out seconds before they broke into the chamber. How were they able to do that? How were they able to do that? I get that they were like the protective forces were like be a little hands off because there's going to be protests. But like there's a point where you just like, no, we're going to stop people from getting in. Were they undermanned? Did they just like misinterpret things? Was this intent? Who knows?
Yeah, no.
I doubt we ever will.
Because I know there was one guy, and I don't remember his name, but his picture and his name are starting to go around now because they're starting to put together that he was kind of like the one person at the top of a staircase to like stall and attempt to stop them at all and give the representatives enough time to leave, because I think it was like 80 seconds from when the mob reached like the top of the stairs where this one officer was, and them reaching like the inner chambers, and those inner chambers are empty.
Yeah, that was insane. And as much as it makes me a bad person to admit it, it is kind of, like you said, a little darkly hilarious. Just because I don't know what other reaction to have to it. Like, sure, it's terrifying, but it's terrifying to the point of laughter, right? Like,
it's a terrifying, but if you let that sink in and fester, it will drive you insane. And I think you have to just like, you kind of have to laugh, as dark and morbid as it is. And I know I've had to like wrestle and sort through, like, these representatives are human beings who have families, loved ones, they have hobbies and interests outside of being like an elected representative. And also, no, the government should be afraid of the people they like take care of. And I know there were tons of like Gen Z students who are like, now elected officials know what it's like to be a student going to public school in America. They just have to hide under their desk, lock the door, and hope they move on to the next room.
Jesus. Oh my God. See, it's a horrible thing, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's yeah. That's terrible. It's not ideal. No. I don't care for it. But I know that inauguration, that'll be fine though, right?
Oh,
that'll be fine.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Nothing.
Don't worry about it.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. I'm definitely not going to pop popcorn. Have all four of my screens here just to tune to different news.
No. Oh yeah, definitely not significant that the current sitting president said he wasn't going to go.
Yeah, nah.
That doesn't matter at all.
But between you and me, I certainly wouldn't mind Joseph R. Biden becoming our 47th president. I think that would be pretty fun to watch. That would be pretty fun to watch.
I think it would be hilarious. Well, and my thing is too, is like, you idiots, if you do anything to Joe Biden, Kamala Harris becomes president. And that's like a super cop becoming president. She will,
you don't want that.
She will throw all of you in prison and exploit your labor. Just
let this happen. All right? You can vote Ted Cruz in, or, oh my God, imagine, I don't know, I don't even know if I brought this up in the podcast yet. Imagine if Ivanka Trump became the first woman president. Wouldn't that just be funny, not in a ha-ha way, right? More like a, kind of way. Wouldn't that just be...
I have seen a lot of people who observe that for all of the, like, grandstanding for equality that Democrats tend to do, they think a female Republican president is far more likely to happen.
And that's really interesting. I wonder why that is. I'm not wondering too hard. Because like, they would. I don't know. Was there even a female Republican running in 2016? There was a black one.
I feel like there was. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't like there obviously there were plenty of them on the left this year. I guess last year.
Yeah, no, and it's not like Democrats don't elect women. They tend to.
Maybe it's the age thing.
Oh, Carly Fiorina.
Oh yeah, her.
Yeah.
What happened to her? Is she like? Who was she even? Was she a governor?
She was a former president of Hewlett, or former CEO of Hewlett Packard.
Oh, we don't want her running the country. Oh my God, have you used their printers? Oh my God,
I have one. Yeah.
You have an HP printer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like it?
It serves what I need.
You have a monthly subscription to ink?
No.
No? Yeah, because that's stupid. If you need ink, you go to the store and buy ink.
Yeah.
Oh. they're selling printers now with ink subscriptions, and it just boggles the noggin. I have an HP printer too. I'm gonna ride this thing till its inevitable end of life. Probably right when I need it most. And I'm gonna switch. Have you ever noticed the printers break down as soon as you need them? As soon as you need them.
That's probably true. I haven't had it happen yet, but I have had it kick on in the middle of the night after watching a horror film, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, they just do that sometimes.
Yeah.
They just like, I feel like I should check my ink levels.
Let me just scream.
Oh, did someone put something in the document feeder? Oh man, and printing is a solved problem. Why is it? That's a whole thing. Here's another argument I got into. I guess we're done with politics now in the waning hours of the.
We're gonna have to figure out what happens. I mean, next time we talk will be after the inauguration.
That's true.
So hopefully we'll be able to talk. But you
never know. This might be it. Here's a question, and you like to read, so you are a good person to ask. I recently was in this argument. Do you think that the price of a Kindle is justified?
How much are they now?
I think they are. Let me look it up. I think they are Amazon Kindle. That's an excellent question, Lauren. Thank you for asking. The Amazon Kindle is $90. Oh, wait, no. Hang on. It's $110 with... Okay, I remember the argument now. The crux of the argument. If you're okay with ads being on your Kindle, $90. If you don't want ads, $110. Expected to ship in 7 to 9 weeks. What the hell?
What? Do they have to build it by hand?
It's just different software. What are you doing?
Press the sand into glass.
Right.
Give it a kiss and send it out the door.
So to someone who reads vastly, almost everyone reads more than I do, but as someone who reads vastly more than I do, would you A, which version of the Kindle would you prefer, and B, would it be worth it?
I would probably pay for the ad-free version just because that's $20 extra. It also depends on how the ads are displayed. Like if ads are just like on the waiting screen versus being on like the borders. Because if it's just on the waiting screen, I don't care. But if it is going to be a part of my view while reading, I would pay the extra $20. Now, I have not owned a Kindle. I had a Nook for a couple years that I used, or no. Yeah, it was a Nook. I used that for a few years. But really, when I've used Kindle since then, I just download the free app. You can get the app on your desktop and your phone.
Yeah.
So it's harder and harder to justify getting a Kindle specifically. It's part of like the smartphone supremacy of like making all other technology obsolete.
Yes. I can see the argument for that. Really, the only thing that Kindles have over phones is the paper screen. Otherwise, yeah. But and that's one that's one of the reasons I think it's hard to justify a price tag about $100. Now, I think if you're going to pay $90 for a one-function device, why does it have ads on it? What are they trying to recoup? I find it very, and apparently this is a true fact. They're selling Kindles at a loss. How are they selling Kindles at a loss at $90? How are they doing it? What are they putting inside of it? Like the screen, okay. E-ink screens are expensive. I can't see that as more than $50. And the internals inside of that thing, electronics are cheap. How are they losing money on the Kindle? I don't follow.
It depends on how much the Nook is, because the Nook, I believe, is Barnes & Noble's exclusive e-reader.
Yeah.
So if they are trying to put Barnes & Noble out of business, like I know they are trying to do, they're selling it at a loss to undercut Barnes & Noble.
Have they not gone out of... Oh yeah,
No,
maybe.
I still have a Barnes and Noble near me.
Oh yeah, look at that. Good for them.
Oh yeah, no, it's for being a former big box store, it feels like supporting a local business now.
Yeah, Nook Low Light 3. That's the cheapest one. $120. It's not even that good looking. My God,
Yeah.
why are they so expensive? Okay. Maybe I need to look in like what kind of screens these things are actually using. Because good Lord, if they're that expensive. But again, like you said, the smartphone supremacy. It almost makes it pointless.
Yeah, because I have the Kindle app on my phone. I don't always use it because when I read, I tend to use paper just because it helps me focus more.
Sure.
But I've used it for classes. I use the desktop version for classes. I've used it for work.
Yeah.
Maybe highlighting is easier on the actual Kindle, but honestly, the touch sensors on smartphones are getting pretty good.
I can't see how they could be better on Kindle, because I mean the refresh rate on e-ink screens so low, so like it's got to be really slow. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it's because I don't read a lot, but it's
Reading is a luxury that I purposefully replace with watching YouTube.
Same. Oh, this is it. This is humanity now.
Yep. Well, I read when other people have read it before me, and they can talk about it better than I can. Plus, I read garbage. I read young adult fantasy, which I respect. I enjoy the genre immensely. But goodness, if you asked me to tell you anything that happened in the last book I read, I could not tell you.
Oh yeah, it's just you're reading to read. You're not reading for like, oh, this is gripping and it's going to change my life. Eat, pray, love. No, it's
Yeah, no. I go in. It's a vaguely European country. This girl is special. Her two guy friends. She's got to choose one of them. One of them's a real bad boy. One of them's a real sweetheart. Who's she gonna pick? Obviously, the bad boy. Until she discovers he's actually the bad guy.
That sounds like, yeah. No, you nailed it. That sounds right. That sounds like it. Yeah. I love just memeing on formats.
Oh yeah.
Tis
And it makes sense from a publishing standpoint, where it's like we have these like 8 check boxes, and if your book checks those boxes, we have a guaranteed market that will buy it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously.
It's the easiest thing in the world. And it's like they come in waves, because one 25-year-old brown graduate, she'll write her big novel based on all of the fan fiction she wrote of like the author that came before her. And so she will be followed by another wave of authors who did the exact same thing with her book.
Yep. You got a wave of copycats. Didn't that happen with Twilight? That happened with Hunger Games. That happened with Harry Potter. That happened with Flappy Bird. That happened with so many things. It's just,
Yeah.
and it works. It just works. Trademark.
Oh yeah. No, I know I am guilty of like, well, this is like that thing, so I'm probably going to like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's purposely like that. It's purposely formulaic so that you will make that association and you will continue to do so in the future.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of marketing things.
Oh yes.
I think we need to slide in a sponsor segment here. And this sponsor segment is kind of related to what we've been talking about. Writing and stories
perfect.
And things like that. So without further ado, this episode of Steaming Pile was brought to you by Capital One. I don't mean the credit card company, of course, rather the humble exclamation point. Such a woefully misunderstood punctuation. Perfect for any occasion, yes? But over the years, it's sadly become overused by the masses. We've grown desensitized to the exclamation point, only really respecting it whilst reading children books aloud. In common everyday occurrence, it's looked over like the common period or colon. We're so numb that we require exclamations in groups of threes to really get our attention, like some kind of warped ellipses. The Brotherhood of the exclamation mark says no more. We need a reboot, a strong foundation upon which punctuation can be held. We need to be rid of the overuse of the exclamation mark and reserve it for its one true purpose. See? That sentence had exclamation mark in the copy here, and you knew it. That's how it should be. So, the Brotherhood of the exclamation mark. Reserved for the truly exciting. That one had 3, so I figured.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You know, I felt that emphasis. They were very passionate. Very.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very considerate of them to sponsor. I know I am guilty of overusing it, but hopefully with their guidance and their knowledge, I can roll back my abuse of the Capital One.
Praise be to the exclamation mark.
Praise be. Perfect. Goodness.
And with that,
I think we've sifted through to the bottom this week.
yeah. Tall pile, but we did it. I'm proud of us.
No. Yeah. Someone has to.
Yeah.
Who are they going to turn to? Experts, scientists? We can't trust those people.
Not in today's day and age. Are you kidding me? No. They turn to the commentators, the free thinkers.
Exactly.
Wake up, sheeple.
Although we're not free thinkers, we are sponsored thinkers.
We are sponsored every week.
Yeah. But this has been another episode of Steaming Pile with Lauren and Tucker. I've been Lauren.
And I have been Tucker.
And we will see you next time.